Hey everyone, welcome back to the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin. I'm excited about today's episode. Joining us is Big Piph, who's a community storyteller. He's an artist. He's a lot of things. You wear a lot of hats in the community. I've seen so much from you through social media in the past few years, and we recently connected a few months ago for a project that you're working on, and now you're on the pod. Welcome to the pod, Big Piph.
I made it. I appreciate it. Your project's coming soon, so I appreciate you still having me on, despite the fact that it hasn't come out yet.
I was telling you before we started recording, I was like, Piph, where's the episode at? But you told me that it's coming in its own time. We recorded something really cool at a gas station, my favorite gas station in Springdale. That's over there by Electric Avenue. So I'm just excited about people seeing that.
No, man, it's cool. I'm glad you did it. Like you came up early on people I wanted to highlight. So as I asked a few people about doing people in Northwest Arkansas, your name came up like 2 or 3 times. So it's commendable because normally somebody pops up once. So it's a pleasure getting to meet you, man.
I appreciate it, man. So for many, many years, you've kind of been out in the community using your artistic skill to give back to the community and work on different projects. For someone that doesn't know Big Piph, how would you describe yourself?
Yeah. So I finally have like a way of saying it because my mom made me figure something out. But I pretty much say it's like where hip-hop creativity meets community engagement. So that could look like several things. So it could be purely like performance in certain communities, or it could be, like I do a lot of documentaries. I'm also like what's called a cultural ambassador. So I go overseas and do hip-hop residencies to share the culture, but as well as like learn from theirs and figure out how to implement it. And then sometimes it's like purely more just community-oriented from just fundraisers and integration in people's events. So it kind of looks in different ways, but just hip hop, community, meshed together, whatever makes sense. Yeah.
And you can never trust the internet, what the internet says, but the internet was saying that you're from Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
Is that true? Is that factual?
From Pine Bluff.
Were you born there?
No, so I was born Freehold, New Jersey, moved to Pine Bluff when I was 7. So that's pretty much most I know. 7, then I went to college in the Bay. Then I went to New York for like 2 years, and I was in Little Rock. So
okay.
And I was in Little Rock 15, and now I kind of split time between Little Rock and like right north of Atlanta. Yeah.
So where does like the light bulb turn on for you when you're like, I want to get involved in the community, I want to make a difference in my community? When do you start thinking that?
Yeah. So I guess there's different levels to it. So I think it changed over time. So I mean, one, my parents kind of always just kind of like instilled that to us. So it's like there's an old verse they used to say, it's like, he who much is given, much is required. So it's just one of those things of like, every time you advance, it's required of you to give back, right? And especially at first in my younger years, when I first started, first time I read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and just was really...
I read that one. That one changed my mind too.
Yeah.
It changed my world, I think.
Yeah, so same thing, right? So it was around that time I read that, and I was like, wait, people do this? Like this? You know what I'm saying? Like this. And so just the information I was given there, the activism he was doing, and also just the person he was. Then I kind of just started going down, not even a rabbit hole, because it wasn't like I just switched up right then and there. But that was the first level of just like consciousness of it from my parents, and then like early reading. Then in college, I did a few things just like community oriented because they just had a few different programming things. Then as I got like heavily into hip hop, artistry as like an MC, but then just in the culture, and the history of the culture always has been community oriented. So it was just kind of like a lot, especially at that point, early 20s, just like trying to embolden, like, especially in the black community. But the first time when it changed again was, first time I did my cultural diplomacy, I went to Gambia. And by this time I was doing like little things here and there, right? So I always would be, hey, there's initiative going over here, there's advocacy going over here, can you show up? Cool. But I went over there and I was like, the cultural ambassadorship, so it was like, once again, doing programming and mostly like underserved communities or communities that need more service, right? And it was like seeing then how my hip hop intersected very cleanly with community. And then when I came back, I figured like I wanted to make that like the thing, right? Like it's not an either or, it's like they play together, right? So it's not like I just want to be an artist or I just want to be a community dude. I saw how they play well together. And then I did another one that same year, like Mauritius and Seychelles, and then like Myanmar. So I've been to like 12 of them now. And it expanded from just, as I learned more, it expanded from just like black consciousness, which is, for those who don't know, I'm black, who may never just be hearing this, right? But like as I just started dipping in different communities, so whenever I would go a place, even domestically, I would like do my work, but then like seek out what's the history and what's the culture of a place. So even like when I went to Miami for kicking it, it was like, oh, what's this Cuban museum over here? What's the history of this? And there's just certain things that repeat, like colonization and like indigenous people and especially people of color, first generation, all get got by larger like entities, right? And so it just became then just like this first consciousness, and then second, like curiosity, right? So it's like, if I meet someone, I like knowing about their world. And I think that just grew and grew and grew more, and figuring out like how to be an advocate and an ally, right? So it's like, been on my talking a long time.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, this is a podcast, man. You're supposed to.
Man, I'm trying to let you get some edgewise here.
No, you're good.
So it became a thing of me, where I came to my final stage was, there's so many things to do in so many places. It's like I dig into the things that I can apply my skill and get some expertise in, right? But I can be an ally in other places, right? So it's like a lot of my work is where entertainment crosses community and how it could be used as a tool and a catalyst. But at the same time, like if my homies down the street need me to come to a rally and show up, or share some information on that, it's like, okay, I could be an ally. It's like, I don't have enough energy to be 100% in that, but like, I know now, like, oh, all these causes I can't do 100%, but I can show up when need be and stuff like that. So kind of just levels to it.
How do you find the balance of kind of like belonging to so many different places? Because it sounds like you're going to all these different communities and stuff. And sometimes a lot of us, you know, I have Springdale, Northwest Arkansas, where I feel like this is my community, this is my home kind of thing. But it sounds like you're going all over the place, just kind of planting seeds in all these different areas. Yeah. How do you balance that?
Yeah, so I guess a lot of it is, like you said, I had to learn to understand that I can't be to Springdale what you are to Springdale. And then also I shouldn't be, right? So it's like, you're rooted here, I've done so much work here, and so on and so forth. So I understand when I come, let me give to the utmost potential of what I can do to kind of like assist, but understanding that I'm leaving, right? So for me, the way I kind of balance is a few things. One is that understanding of like, okay, what can you contribute that's worthwhile in this period of time, right? Also understanding like, don't ever confuse myself to be like, I'm doing the work that you're doing, right? And that's important in the sense of, I don't want to, I've met certain people, maybe even at certain times myself, like, oh, I'm doing all this work. It's like, now there's levels to it, right? So there's levels of what I'm doing that's needed, but there's also levels that do the deep dives and are entrenched in the community, right? So I did a documentary series, a little docu-series on like Stop Cop City, which was coming up in Atlanta. They were building a new cop training center, and it's all types of problematic. So while I was there doing it, I interviewed tons of community leaders and activists. I'm doing this documentary, and I know like because of that, I'm like getting a lot of the public facing, but I'm not doing the work they're doing, right? Like I'm high, like my job now is a lot of times highlighting the people who are doing the deep work, so maybe it can draw more to the cause. So for instance, when I interviewed you, it's like, I want to put that out so people know what you're doing, and maybe somebody could be like, hey, I got some resources to give you, or like, hey, how can I help this out? Like, because I know I can't do it, so it's like, maybe I can use whatever I got going so people can do it out. So that's kind of how I look at it now. And then also, I think sometimes when discussing community advocation, it's sometimes just always seems heavy, but like, meeting you has been dope. Like, we have conversations, and it's like being on this podcast, having this conversation and conversing with you outside of this is like, that provides the levity, right? So it's not, I don't go in there heavy. It's like, do the work when it's time to do the work, be intense when it's time to be intense, but also understand we're people who need different forms of engagement. So sometimes we're just conversing about whatever we're conversing about, right? So a lot of the energy comes because I just meet a lot of dope people who inspire, invigorate, and sometimes they're just cool folks, right? And that is also kind of like a large part of understanding, have that as an aspect too. Yeah.
A lot of your work seems to be like very unapologetic work, where you just do what you think is right, and you platform what you think is right, you highlight what you think is right. Do you ever have any problems with like funding? Like, people are like, you're being a little bit too radical? Because I know I have that problem. It's not, luckily for the work that I do, I've never been seeking funding. We've been very blessed that the community has fundraised for us, and funding has kind of came to us instead of looking for it. But I know that in the future, you know, like, because of the radical approaches that we take to community organizing and just doing what's best for our community, that we might have some issues with maybe some people not wanting to fund the work. Do you ever have any of those kind of barriers?
Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting. It's like there's a large group of people, of course, who are like, I'm not radical enough. Like they think, I would say whitewashing, but you kind of said it well. I'm very, to a high degree, unapologetically me. And so I don't try to pose and be more radical than I am, and I don't try to back down and be more like complacent and docile than I am. So yeah, as far as funding, yeah, there's certain times, throughout my career, there's been times when folks like, hey, could you change this up, or we can't do this because of this, or if you switch it up like this, you'll be able to be more viable. And there's two levels. So in the work anybody does, but in the work I do, it's like there's I look at relationships, because I look at this, what I do is a relationship of what I do and who I am. But like in a relationship, like with just another person, it's like if I was in a romantic relationship, it's like I have to mold a little bit, but never lose myself. And that person has to mold a little bit, but it's only unhealthy when they start to lose themselves. So I was looking at the same thing. So it's like there's certain things I do which is just part of the game, but as soon as it becomes like I'm no longer who I should be, like I'm out. And so because of that, yeah, I've lost a few things, but still rolling. I have to wake up to myself in the morning, and I do have to pay bills, but at the same time, thankfully, it hasn't come to an either or at this moment. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, yeah, I'll leave dollars on the table if I have to like become something that I'm advocating against.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I agree. I mean, that's something that I think about a lot as well. You're constantly using hip hop like as a tool for your community work. Why do you think using hip hop is a good thing for your, like, why do you think it's so efficient in providing results and you connecting with people in the community?
I think it's two reasons. So one is like when you really bust down hip hop, like once again, hip hop and MC and rappers, like rapping and MCing are within hip hop, but hip hop's bigger than that, right? So if you look at the origins of hip hop from the 70s and the community background of it, like it always engaged in the community, right? So hip hop as a culture has always been one that was binding and building within itself. Definitely some problems within it throughout history, but the core of it was always like, hey, nobody's paying attention to us, we'll do it ourselves, create our own style, do our own thing, so on and so forth. Also, even if you want to kind of even get a little bit more abstract, like hip hop was built heavily off of, here's these other things that exist, we're taking pieces of them and growing and building, right? So in the aspect of like me moving in communities and so on and so forth, it's like, oh, I'm learning from these communities, which just bolsters my art. So part of it is, to me, it's like the core and the essence. Another aspect is like, I just really love it, right? Like it's not like a coat I put on and I take off. It's like at this point in my life, like hip hop has changed my world in so many ways. So for me, it's like, it's what I am and my outlet to that. But if I love being an architect, I'd probably do the same thing through architecture somehow, right? If I was like a dope yo-yoer, you know what I'm saying? I'd be like, hey, come over here. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be my inroad. But since it's hip hop, it is my channel to be myself and intersect with these communities. And I think lastly, I mean, hip hop on a larger scale has been both wildly loved and wildly like hated, right? And so so a lot of the communities I go in, it's natural talk or ways for them, so it's like an inroad. A lot of other ones, shoot, even out here when I first came, it was like, yeah, we don't know what you're doing. Like when we first started doing stuff, a lot of rejections, like, oh, hip hop, no. I've had a lot of people come off the record and be like, hey, like because it's hip hop, we can't do this, and so on and so forth. So it's just like it's who I am, it's how I approach the table, and it's what it is. So like even sometimes I'll be a place and they're like, can we not say you're a hip hop artist, but say you're something like this? I'll be like, no, like I'm not going to, like don't. Because also a lot of that is kind of like coded language as well. A lot of it, because hip hop is heavily associated with a black culture, also a heavy like Latinx culture. But like, so it's also kind of coded like that. It's like this is our way of kind of also another tangent, my bad. But it's not held to a level of acclaim as some other musical or cultural artists, right? And so for me, I actually hold it to the high level of any other kind of like art form. And so if someone wants to degrade it, I'm out. Or I push back and like, this is why you can't do that, right? Because I'm in a position, I've done enough stuff that I can kind of maneuver in a few other places, but there's a lot of other people who are within hip hop culture who can't as easily. And so it's like, if I don't like make it easier for them to get in there, then like I don't think I'm doing my job.
That makes sense. One of the other people that was coming in here, artist, rapper, storyteller that was doing work here was Merce.
Yeah.
Did you ever connect with him?
Nah, we always miss each other. Whenever I came, we miss. Yeah.
I was wondering because I got the opportunity. He reached out about meeting and we met at, I think it was Onyx in Rogers, and then I gave him a ride from Rogers to downtown Springdale where he was over here at the Medium, and I got to talk to him and just kind of like ask him questions that I had. One of the questions that I had was like, how was it working with John Cena? Because he had a song. He had a song with John Cena. And he told me how like the WWE forced him to remove it off Spotify because it didn't get permission for him to do it and stuff. But he seemed like a cool dude, really down to earth. And I was just wondering if y'all had ever had an interaction, because I haven't seen y'all together in the same spot, and y'all were doing very similar things in the area. Yeah,
no, it was funny because I remember when he first was coming and folks were saying, and I would come and like whenever I was here, he was almost gone. So we just missed each other for years. Like it's just one of those things.
It almost felt like y'all were like tag teaming each other in. Be like,
exactly. Hey, right, your turn. You got it. Man, it's kind of weird, man. We just missed each other, but yeah.
Have you ever met him before?
No, I haven't. Have I met him? I've met a lot of people. I don't think I've ever met him.
Okay.
Yeah, like I've met through my career a lot of folks, but I've never met them, man. Just always like. Earlier was like I had listened to several. I think I own a few of his CDs, but yeah, never met him, man. So it's kind of weird.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So one other thing that I kind of wanted to ask you about was your hip hop inspirations. Who would you say, coming up, really inspired you to kind of take that route in music and maybe molded your style a little bit based on what you were hearing when you were younger?
Yeah, so it changed. So now it's different. It's funny because I actually have now like a new crop of people that influenced me that's like in the last 10. But earlier it was like the first time I really, really, really became a fan. There's a record label called Suave House, and it was because my parents were big in like soul music and R&B, and so their instrumentation and musicality, which I found later on was like live musicians playing it, was the inroad for me to like. They treated their rhymes more like an instrument than like a lot of East Coast I was first hearing. Because the East Coast was like minimal beats, boom bap, and it was like go at the beat. Whereas like they were like, here's this beat, and I'm almost using my flow as an instrument with it. So that was my inroad, and then I was able to like East Coast rap. So it was like Suave House was like 8-Ball MJG and T-Love, but then it came to like Nas, and then like who else was in there?
From the music that I've heard from you, I feel like you get a lot of inspiration from like spoken word.
Yeah, so it's funny. So a lot of people. So you know what? One thing I find cool is like I've heard a lot of folks say what they hear, kind of like in my rhymes, and it's all over the place. So I've heard some folks be like, "Man, you must only listen to East Coast." I've heard somebody like, "Do you do spoken word?" I used to get like the common sense comment, and I used to get like, "Oh man, you remind me of this Southern artist." So it's cool. Like I feel like I'm like a rapping Rorschach. You know what I'm saying? Tess is like, what do you see or hear in this or whatever? And then the biggest one, because I think of our voice tones, I don't know if you know The Game. Dude, like folks
former
like,
G-Unit.
Yeah, dude, they will run up all the time, like, you sound like, and I'm like, I'm gonna say The Game. Yeah.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
I want to touch on the project that I was a part of that you've been doing for a few years now at the gas stations.
Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about what that project is and what people can look forward to in this upcoming batch of videos that you will be putting out soon?
Yeah, One for the Road. It was a conjunction project with Winthrop and a group called New World. And it was going back to what I was saying in the beginning of like how to connect, how to make an entertaining or engaging conversation with community change makers, right? So who are these community change makers, especially because Winthrop has a lot of interest in like Alice community. So it's like, those who work but still are struggling to pay bills, so like especially people doing impact in those worlds. And for me, it's like I'm just trying to be the host to highlight y'all, right? So it's cool, like once again, as I was looking to come up here And I try to have a little bit of diversity. Like, so it's like, hey, I'm looking for somebody. And it was like, holla at him. And so, yeah, man, I appreciate you doing it. But essentially, it's quick 90-second, 2-minute interviews. Our interview took like an hour, but it'll be chopped down to like a quick 90-second interview of like highlighting things you do and also showing a little bit of like your personality, who you are as a person, right? And it's for, of course, the community that already knows you, but also I want other people who don't know about you to be like, oh, he's doing this, right? Because the one thing I've heard a lot of my work over the years is like people say like, nobody's doing anything. Nobody's doing nothing. And it's like, nah, man, like there's ridiculous amount of people doing a lot of ridiculous amount of work, right? It's just, and so what I saw sometimes the need being is how to have people know there are people doing the work. So it's like, it's not that they're not doing anything. You just don't know you just haven't seen them or heard of them. So it's like, here they go. Here's this person. So it's been cool because as people come out, they'll be like, oh, I ain't know such and such did that. I ain't know somebody was doing that. So it's like, I just want people to know, like, nah, there's somebody working hard in this area, and like, yeah, man, it's you. So I want them to know your work and like, it's cool folks.
I almost feel like a lot of the times when people say, oh, there's no one doing work, like they don't have their ear in the community, right? Because if you do have ear in the community, you see a lot of people doing a lot of behind the scenes work that they don't necessarily promote themselves on social media of the work that they're doing. That's why a lot of times people don't hear it. There's a lot of unsung heroes in the community.
Yeah, exactly. You're saying it way better than I could. Like, it's like how to point out those unsung heroes. And sometimes to the people who don't know credit. So there are a group of people who just say that and they're not even caring. They're just saying that because it's an easy cop out. But there's a large group of them who is like, man, people have lives, right? And it's like they'll go to work, got family, come back tired. So it's like they don't know where to begin to look in the community for folks. So what I'm trying to do is like, all right, cool. You just saw somebody right here. Here's somebody else right here. Like, here's people. You ain't got to you going to doom scroll on your phone anyway. Now, like, check out this dude. So now you don't have an excuse to be like, oh, right? So if someone wanted to get involved in like immigration, it's like, oh, I know somebody particularly who I could listen to, right? Whereas they may not, if they just Googled it, it might be too overwhelming. But now it's like, oh, here's a person with the face and a personality and a voice who's doing the work. So that's kind of what it is. It's like I'm trying to show, here go these folks right here doing a lot of dope stuff.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
You have, by the time this episode drops, which will be Friday, the next day you'll have an event in Bentonville. Can you talk a little bit about that and invite people to tomorrow pull up?
Yeah, Momentary. So at the Free on the Green. So the free part emphasis is like just pull up. It's family friendly. I'm bringing my live band. So I have a 5-piece, I think it's 5 of us, maybe 6. Live band, hip hop infused with like funk and soul.
Okay.
Also Spider.
6 p.m., right?
Yeah, 6. And I think the DJ hits first for probably like 30 minutes. We perform after, and the DJ ends it. So it's just like a fun family event on some cool like hip hop. Momentary, 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Spider gonna be there?
Yeah.
Former guest of the podcast.
Oh, for real? He swung through?
You're talking about Spider Crazy, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's been here before.
Yeah, man. So that's cool. I've only met him. It's funny. He did a show way back, and besides that, we crossed paths. So it's cool that he was on this one. So we got to like chop it more.
Yeah, we need to have him on again. One of the center topics of this podcast that we always ask guests is, how do you take care of your mental health?
Oh man, my self-care game is amazing. So
you seem like someone whose self-care game is like on point. Like you take care of yourself mentally.
Yeah. So very much as you were asking before, like how do I do all the work and so on and so forth, or be all these places? It's because I watch out for me too. Like I learned early on that if I burn out or go down bad, everything keeps moving, but also the stuff I was doing stops. So it's like, take the time, take care of myself. So there's a few things, man, but like quick ones. During the day, I have like periods during the space during my day. Let me rephrase that. I have 2 modes of life. One, which is very much like consistent, do the same thing every day, and that's usually when I'm back in like Metro Atlanta. And there's like this mode where I'm running around every day just doing stuff. And they're probably like half and half. When I'm in the other one, I have like just periods of like downtime during my day where it's like nothing. So meaning if I'm watching something, it's something that's like light and enjoyable. I'm not gonna check email during this time. I'll probably do a quick walk. So just during my day, I do that. Also for me, my workout at the end of the day is just therapeutic. Like it's way past even health or aesthetics. It's about like, if I do this, it allows my mind to decompress, and it's just like my therapeutic, almost meditative state, like working out. Also, I have I did a period of time where I found the things that like feed my peace. It was like literally a 9-month quest to find it, and one is like I keep outside of all my contracted work a creative project that makes me grow as a person, as an artist, a person and as an artist, Also, it was the working out, and then the last one is if I'm involved with something I believe could be paradigm shifting, and then it's a lot of a reframing. My bad, I'm got a list, but like reframing things, right? So in a sense of simple example is like if I'm in a line and it's like at a grocery store and it's taking a long time, I'm not like, I chose the wrong line. It's like, oh man, how great is it that I can get food easily and I have the time to be here. So like whenever, there's a saying, it's like he who says they can and he who says they can't are both true, right? Are both right. So it's like a lot of times when I see the click of we're doing this, I'm like, oh, it's so great that I get to do woo, 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 woo. And it's like, the way I phrase it to myself now is I believe the good lie, right? So meaning, both of them could be true, because I could be like, man, it's so sucky, I gotta drive here. Or I could be like, it's so cool, I have gas to drive here. They're both true. One of them feels good and one of them doesn't. So I just believe the feel good one, right? So a lot of stuff, because there will come points in time when it is rough and there's no getting around, like someone passes away or some type of tragedy. Feel everything you need to feel in that. But outside of those times, most of the times that are heavy are my choice, right? And I don't choose. You're not gonna get me feeling trash about something that's like because I'm caught at a red light. Like I'm just not. Like it's like it may be an inconvenience. I may have not preferred to be there, but it sure is cool. I got a car and I'm still gonna make it to where I'm trying to go, right? And I always lean that way because it makes life cooler.
That makes sense. Seeing the glass half full.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get what you're saying. I constantly think about what a blessing it is just to wake up every day.
Dude, like. So I do a lot of work on this, but it's like there's a real cool book that arguably has about 80% of my philosophy, but it's like called 4,000 Weeks. Okay. And the whole basis is 4,000 weeks is the average lifespan, which most people think 4,000 weeks sound low, but it's like that's as long as you have. But the whole oversimplified premise, because of course it's a book that goes way deeper, but it's like people's life normally feel life feels worse because they're expecting to be something that isn't. So it's like, as soon as I get here, I'm gonna feel free. As soon as I get these tasks done, I'm gonna have time. You never catch up. Like, that's just life. Like, even if you catch up, someone's gonna have, like, it'll be like, man, once I figure these things for the week, then it'll be easy street. And it's like, yeah, for a day, and it goes back. So it's just really understanding, like, life is the trade-off of if I do this, I can't do this. Life is the fact it's gonna be tasks, and if I do this, so it's like accepting that and realizing, like, oh, okay, that's just life. Vastly improves the state of life because we very heavily believe it's supposed to be different than what it is. And keep in mind, that's not me being like, don't fight for justice or do these things. It's saying more so like, there's always gonna be injustice. There's always gonna be a fight. Understand that, right? So there is no, one day it'll be a utopia. It's always gonna be that. So once you understand that, it allows you be in that frame of mind to exist in a more peaceful state. So it's not saying you'll be happy all the time. It's more so saying you'll be like more of a peaceful state. So anyway, that's...
Thank you for dropping that knowledge, man. That makes so much sense to me. For the folks that want to continue following you, where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so the easiest, everything I have is just BIGPIPH. So just Big Piph, BIGPIPH. Also, I've been doing like a lot more on the newsletter now because I'm trying to move more and more off of algorithms. And then I just able to express myself on that. So on that one, just on my website, just bigpiph.com. Sign up for the newsletter, man. It's real cool. So I get to have a little bit more space to say what I want to say. Also, it's not like, I got to post all the time to kind of keep up, yeah.
Sounds good, man. Well, I appreciate you making the time to be here. We got to do this again. Yeah, maybe next time that you're like in that Little Rock area and I'm over there, we can like link up and do a longer podcast.
Yeah, it's dope, man.
But for everybody that's watching this episode, go check out Big Piph tomorrow at the Momentary, 6 p.m. Should be a good show. And I appreciate just you making time. I know you gotta dip because you have a workshop in a few minutes. Yeah. But for everybody watching, that was episode 340 of the District 3 podcast. My name is Irvin, joined by Big Piph, and we'll catch you all next week.